And good evening, everybody. Welcome to ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. I got too many things to play with here this week.
This is our field tonight.
It is. I got
this is the John Wristen show tonight.
All right.
Car Pro's John Wristen show.
How's that sound? That sound all right?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, good. John, I got issues. When I was in the booth on Saturday, I stepped on a cord and I pulled it out of here, and so this channel's dead now on the old Comrex. But the reason we have 5 is because of instances like that.
Well, Jim, you were a master of the obvious, and you figured it out.
It was like Apollo 13 up there. We were conserving oxygen. But we got it to work. Well, speaking of conserving oxygen, that was deep breath after that ball game, boy, man. What a good one.
What a great football game.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well played by both sides, and I give a lot of credit to Colorado Mesa, and they came to play, and we got their A game, and we showed up and we played. It was just a lot of fun. I was telling someone that I had a lot of fun coaching that game. I can't remember how much the last time it was when I had so much fun coaching a game and seeing our kids just rally and respond and have that energy and play with the ebbs and flows of a ball game and stay with it and play relentless and it wasn't always perfect, but I think we had unbelievable effort.
I thought it was the chances for both teams in that game to assert control. They had control, it seemed like. It was 21-10. You got the score to get back in it, got the turnover before halftime to lead it going in. Then the play to, poor Cookie, wide open. He catches that one. You go up 2 touchdowns or 11 points, basically.
Right.
It might be all she wrote. Might see them wilt at that point. But it gave them new life, and then they put it on you. And you guys had to respond. It was a game of both teams responding. I guess you responded last.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, but that's what you do when you play, right? You're supposed to go to 60 minutes, and we were tested, and I was proud of the way we responded. There was a couple times, like you said, we were down 11, and I'm going, holy smokes! And it was early in the second quarter, and I think we had 4 straight punts at that point, or 3. I know we had 3, and so I was a little nervous about where we were going with that, and then Hunter caught fire, and our kids made some great plays and great throws, and we missed another touchdown on our first field goal. Zach was wide open. We had a well-designed play by Brady Brown and Wilk and the whole crew, and that he just overshot him a little bit, but boy, did he put the ball in money on a couple of those throws.
Well, and they scored when you had, but the defensive effort in the second half, just to it was almost like defenses of old, that bend but don't break kind of deal, and gave up a play, but then you stiffened. And there was a couple of big third downs that Mesa had in the second half that they got in the first half,
right,
that they didn't get in the second half.
Well, I think we kept the ball in front of us, except the one long run, really, and when you do that, you got a chance to win ball games. And you've heard me say that 1,000 times the last 15 years. You've heard me say we make them drive the whole way, we got a chance. And so I think that happened, and our defense kept gaining traction, I think, of the coverage more than anything else. And we were able to cover. We went to a little man-to-man a little bit instead of some zone, and our kids responded and played their tail end off.
Well, I thought you were going in. They're big wide receivers, and they showed, man, those guys big and tall, and they could get open, and they knew what to do with the ball. The quarterback played phenomenal. That guy's pretty good. Big, physical, makes good decisions. He finally got a little more heat on him in the second half, and I think that was probably the difference in the long run, just getting that little extra heat on him where he wasn't as comfortable as he was kind of sitting there in the rocking chair in the first half.
Yeah, I think we changed some alignments on our defense to apply a little pressure, and with Momar and Trey, Bots really played well. Cody Ramey gained some confidence in that game.
Yes.
And made some plays, and I thought that was very productive. And T. Roby was steady at himself, and Scipio coming off the edge, and it was good. Kenny Lofton has stepped up and played really good football for us, too.
Might have been Cody Ramey's coming out party. I mean, we called his name a lot, and if he didn't make the play, he made a play that somebody else made the play.
Yeah, he really held his edge, as we call it, and then he was able to circle back underneath where in the first half that quarterback was able to get a couple scrambles. Not big scrambles, but he was able to do that. And that last drive when we have him really trapped on the goal line, and Cody was remarkable along with Molar and Trey about playing that, their twist game and trying to get there to quarterback. But what they did is they outworked him. They just got to the point and said, we're not going to be denied. And they went to work, and it was really really awesome to see those kids respond to that challenge.
I thought in this ball game, maybe Hunter Roque might have been the first time he seemed a little antsy at times in that first half, rushing things a little bit. But as the game wore on, he finally developed that confidence, you say. And once he got that confidence, he made some brilliant plays in that ball game. In the first half, just a little jittery. Did you get that kind of feeling like maybe he was pressing a little bit? I don't think it's because he's nervous. Just felt like he was trying to do maybe a little too much. A couple passes in the ground, one he overshot, maybe a little amped up.
I don't know.
Or is it just a good defense kind of causing him some problems?
I think that he made some unbelievable throws. I mean, when he threw Zach Rakowski down to the sidelines was unbelievable. And so that was the first quarter, second drive of the game. And then he just overshot Zach. And I think, times that's going to happen. I've never seen a quarterback yet go 35 or 35.
Right.
But those things happen. But he's playing as well as any quarterback we've had, I believe. And, it's fun seeing him progress and handle that. Now, he's number one or second in the country behind the kid at Mines, Latoka. I think Latoka's like 183.8 on the passing efficiency. Hunter's at 183.5.
Wow.
And so I think that's really cool.
Well, I just want to say I thought he responded. Sometimes you got to face a little adversity, and you found out what he's made of. When you go down a couple scores, that's when panic could set in. But he righted the ship and then led you to a victory. I thought that said a lot about it.
Yeah, I thought that he responded, and then the little route he threw in the back of the end zone to Cookie, that was another big-time throw right there. And so, it was just you go through those ebbs and flows of a game, and our guys responded through the ebbs and flows, and it was really cool. And it was a great bus ride home.
Well, and you laugh. I know your favorite words are "what if." John does not like to talk about what ifs, but skill set wise, Hunter Roque's probably as gifted a quarterback has been here since 2008, and just what if we had another year or we had him? I would only selfishly to see him get to play some more.
Sure. I mean, I was talking today to staff. We were talking about some things, and Chris Bonner was pretty special, and he led a team to the 14 national championship and threw some great balls. And this kid is right up there with Chris Bonner.
It's just kind of the same throw, but then you add Hunter's legs.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he can move around and get you some yardage when you.
That's where we thought he was a little indecisive when he pulled it down. Prior to this past Saturday, when he ran. There was no question, and it seemed like he still wanted to make that throw this time.
Well, they were playing a little spy on that, and so I thought he handled it right, and managed the game.
Sure.
And so I think that Hunter has tremendous arm strength and touch, what you see on the deep ball, and so we're lucky to have him.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Mesa. I mean, they rallied to the ball. That's a pretty good ball club for being 2-6 or 2-7, whatever they are. Like they're said that going in. Hey, we're the best 2-5 football team in the country. Well, okay, whatever. But as the game went on, I mean, they're getting better. They're young guys. They had 5 guys that hadn't played a down of football before this year, so they're kind of growing into the role, aren't they? I think you'd like to have caught them early in the year. Catching them now, they're kind of a tough nut to crack out there.
Well, I think that I think Miles got their attention after the Adams State game. They didn't play very well. They didn't give their best effort, and there was a lot of moving parts to that, I guess. And so he really challenged them. And I told Miles, you got this guy. You got these guys. You don't want to lose them. You want to make sure you keep doing what you're doing, because these kids responded, and they played one heck of a ball game.
And just looking at what else you got going on the weekend. I mean, at one point, John, we're sitting up there in the booth. It's about early on in the fourth quarter. We were in a struggle. Every team in the country that you needed to lose was winning. It was like, man, well, this could be a disastrous day in Pac football lore. You guys made the comeback. All of a sudden, the scores started to flip all around the country. We were even driving home with athletic director Paul Politsky. There's another loss in the, Kingsville. It just turned out to be kind of a phenomenal day for Pac football.
Well, what it was is that we controlled what we could control. And
yeah, none of the other stuff would have meant anything.
You guys like to deal with all that.
Right.
Well, of course.
But I was following it on the bus.
Yeah, you were. You got a lot of time to.
I was definitely following it on the bus, and I just kept telling our kids that, our goals are still in front of us. Our goals are still attached to us. And excuse me.
Technical difficulty.
There we go. Now, okay, there we go.
Sorry, I didn't know we had a. Anyway, when we were 1-3, everybody looked at me like, "What are you talking about? We're 1-3," and so I think Joe. I think I said it to Joe after the end of the Mines game. We're going to go 1-0. We're going to finish this season right. We're going to play Pac football. And these kids took this challenge on, and our goals are still in front of us.
Well, Pactober was good to you. Was really good to you. 5-0 in the month of October. So I was trying to come up with a November one now.
I was saying, do you have something yet?
Well, you have no shave November.
Yeah.
And then I thought of that we can't say that. So I'm going to go with no lose November. So, or no quit November. I like that one. So you get a pick, John.
No,
no, he doesn't want to have a slogan.
We got to go 1-0. That's our slogan.
Well, you're looking right in front. You got a ball game this weekend. We've been talking about it. They've been just climbing a ladder, isn't it? Now this next rung on the ladder, John, looks like you got to stretch a little bit more on this one, because these guys are good. They beat Western Colorado 38-10, shellacked them.
Yep.
They were right with Mines in the first half of that ball game. They got guys up and down the roster. You look, they got a lot of returnees, a lot of experience. I think you're going to have no problem motivating your ball club to not overlook somebody. These guys, they're legit. And they're right in the same spot you are. People don't realize that. It's, well, Thunderbolts got to keep winning. They're looking at the same charts we're looking at. If they win their final 2 games, they're going to say, hey, let us in the party. So that's what this game is huge this weekend.
Well, this is really a playoff game. It boils down
elimination game, basically.
Really elimination game, playoff game, and you're playing for something that's bigger than yourself. You get invited to a tourney that's bigger than yourself, and so our kids are really excited to have this opportunity versus a well-coached South Dakota Mines team. And they're very sound. Their front 7 on defense will junk it up on you, and they're going to get you and do those things. And then their quarterback is absolutely a playmaking Jesse, and they got 3-8. That's all I've had nightmares about. 3-8, all about being playmakers and making plays. And so our work's cut out. We got to bring our A game on Senior Day.
All right, we're going to get John. Let's get John some chicken soup here. Chicken soup and some hot tea, something like that. Get him revived for segment 2 when we do all our highlights. We are at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show. We'll listen to highlights right after this on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back, ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show. Sure, you can howl. Is Rock asleep under there? Rock. Hello, Rock. Oh, Rock is. I see Rock's face hanging out under the. Rocky, one more chance to run out. on Saturday.
One of those good burgers. He had the Rock Burger.
Is that on the menu?
I don't know.
I might order that, the Rock Burger. It's kind of plain, though. Kind of plain Jane, though, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Poor Jane. Jane isn't that plain.
Depends on which Jane.
Well, that's true. But, that's kind of a slight to Janes everywhere.
Well,
go to a plain.
Dude, my name's Joe.
Plain Joe, yeah. Jane and Joe. Jim and Joe, that's pretty plain as well.
Jim, Joe, and John.
Yeah.
I guess we're kind of pretty well covered, don't we?
Alliteration be damned.
The J boys. All right, here we go. Let's start getting into the highlights here. And it started off right in the game. Everything looked rosy. That first drive of the ball game drove it right down the field, and it was Austin Bacher time.
Flush down to the pocket, getting the first down and more inside the 5. Touchdown, Mavericks! Harsh Hunter. Great run there. He avoided the stretch. The Thunderbolts had pressure coming up the middle.
Well, that obviously wasn't the right play. That was Karst scoring for them, so it's not in order. But Austin Bacher, good run on that first drive of the ball game. John, you drove it right down the field.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think we had 3 third downs that were very crucial, and we picked them up. That's why you maintain that, and it was a big-time drive, and that play right there was a little Austin made a nice cut, and then kind of hurdled the safety coming down, and really stepped it up in the end zone. And it was a great drive. It was really, you see it on the film, is all 11 CSU Pueblo, and then you see the sidelines are all armpits. They're all up in the air, and it was really cool to see.
Well, and you dictated play all the way down the field. It was a great mixture. It was a great series, again, of moving the ball, run, pass.
It really gives a team a lot of confidence, I think, when you take that first drive. There's some years where we didn't score on the first drive forever, and you responded on the second one or the third one, but the first one goes, all right, let's go do it again.
Well, then they come back, and their first possession got one of the all-time, I thought, great spots in the world. I mean, does an official actually know he can put it like a half inch, fudge it just enough forward? I thought he was short when he ran it up. I go, man, that's short. Then they kind of fudged, and then they didn't give the old stretch. I know a chain doesn't stretch, but they didn't really put a lot of effort in getting that far.
The first part, it was short, and then they respotted it on the hash to measure it. It became, and you could tell.
Yeah, it kind of fudged, a little fudge job.
And I called him because the yard marker is this wide, 3 inches or whatever wide, and they moved it to the very tip, so there was no chance. And I actually watched them do that. But
we call that chicanery.
But let's as we get to the far, as we progress later in the game, you're going to take advantage of some very poor officiating.
Well, it's all in the eyes of the beholder.
Absolutely.
Well, so they come back and. They get it tied, 7. You go down. You drove it right down the field again, as you mentioned. Missed the pass to Rakowski running across the back of the end zone, wide open. It just, but when you're thinking you got a lineman here, you got to loft it over the top of that safety, and the linebacker's there. So you can see why you miss a pass like that once in a while. But you settle for the field goal.
Yeah, and I was glad that we got Sully on the board, and it was important for him to get his momentum. But, Zach Rakowski is a great football player, and so – if he was 3 inches taller, he might have caught that, Right. And I say that out of respect. And he's just an awesome kid.
All right, so you're down 21-10, and they're doing a pretty good job flipping the field with field position. You start a drive, you're down 21-10, you're on your own 16-yard line. I said, man, and I even mentioned out there, I go, the Thunderbolts have to face a little sense of urgency on this drive because you're not going to get the ball first to start the second half. You kind of want to cut into it here. You don't want to give them the ball back, maybe get another score, then they get the ball. I mean, things could snowball on you in a hurry here, but you came back with a key drive, and it was Keon Martinez who finished it off. Keon Martinez touchdown.
That could have been a game by Keon Martinez, untouched into the end zone.
And we're having a heck of a time with our levels coming down the line here, but Maybe we'll just describe the plays,
Well,
John. We're going to try another one here in a little bit. But
just as
talk about the drive.
As hard as you had to work on that drive, the touchdown was kind of anticlimactic. He went in untouched, but it was a great cutback or great flop out with him.
Well, I think we had Max Fine catch a big third down play, and we were able to. And then CK got in the ball game and really caught a nice ball right over the middle, and so we get stopped on the 2. We think he's going in, and we get stopped by the 2, and we went to an unbalanced formation, and they adjusted with the safety out. So we got a hat in the box, and we were able to take advantage of Keon. Made a great read, but we had it all target right, and we played fast in our front and was able to do that. And if they give us a different look, we have a chance to do some different things.
Then what happened was probably one of the key plays of the game. You needed a turnover on defense, and this happened right at the end of the first half. Donnell's interception.
The grab's intercepted. What a play by the Thunderbolts.
That is a catch.
Donnell dotted the I there at the 39-yard line. Eric Donnell on the interception of the Thunderbolts.
Big pick, John.
Yeah, you should have seen. He came from the other hash. It was a rollout.
Yeah.
And it was well covered. We strung it out, and the quarterback threw it up, and you just see Eric's got great ball skills. He just really does. He has a knack for it. And he made it look so easy. He grabbed the ball over his head and got 1 foot down and around. And it was an unbelievable play.
Like I said, it was a catch because the entire Mesa coaching staff was trying to get in the ears.
Yeah.
The official was saying he was out of bounds, and I'm like, that was a beautiful catch.
Yeah. So
he looked like the intended receiver on that play.
He has great ball skills, and I really believe that was one of the key plays in the ball game.
Sure.
Really a key play.
Sure.
Yeah, because now you get the ball back, and now you're on the offensive and say, let's take this down. And, it's easy to say, get the turnover now, let's go get the score. But you guys do it, and then you talk about the pass play to Cook, and here that one is the touchdown to Andrew Cook.
Cook has got a touchdown. Thunderbolts.
Andrew Cook comes through again.
He kind of ran it out and then it up on the sideline that time. Ended up in the far corner that time.
All right, John, you heard my description of there. It seemed like he kind of went out and then turned up the sideline and was able to haul that baby in, and he got separation. I mean, the corner bit, and then he went right around.
Well, we took the corner out with a post, and so
was it a safety coming over that he took out?
So it was the safety that was down on him. So we high-low it with Cookie in the post, and then we have Cookie set, and then kind of like when we used to play in Baylor football, you used to go spin around. I used to try to throw it to you once in a while, but Cookie does a little faster than you.
Right, exactly.
And so he was able to spin it and get around, but the throw was just on point. But the key that we had great protection.
You got to have time for that.
Our 5 offensive linemen played their tail end off. I thought it was one of their better days. They played physical. I know Simon was hard on them all week, and so they responded, and it was really, really nice to see them respond and play physical.
Came out in the second half, got a stop, got the ball back, and then had a chance to go down the middle of the field and Cook another brilliant pattern. Wide open, and sometimes the pass catch, he responds to tough catches. That one was just too easy, wasn't it, sometimes? You just say, man, it's right there, right through his hands. Nobody felt worse than he did.
Oh, he felt bad, but he came back and responded, and that's what you asked. You asked him to fess it, fix it, and move on, and damn glad you're a Thunderwolf. And so he sure did that. It was funny. Even the great receivers drop one.
Right.
I said, yeah, you're right, dude. Let's go, man. You're right.
Well, I think their running back, I think he only had 3 carries in the game. The question is, we got to ask Miles, how come he only had 3 carries? I mean, this guy that run up the sideline, and he tight-roped it beautifully and showed a great burst of speed there.
Yeah, we got caught. We were playing the pass because at that time they'd been empty and hurry up and others. Right. So we got caught. We put our head inside, and we didn't fit it right. And so the kid ran right down the sideline, and it was it was a 70-yard run, I believe, right there. Yeah. And the kid, our kids hustled and caught him. And
which again is They have not quit on those plays.
Right.
And we've seen that throughout the season, at least. They have not given up on plays that have gone like that.
Correct.
All right, John, this brings us to the play. You're down 28-24. It's in the fourth quarter. It's starting to get late because you're trading punts back and forth. Neither team can get any traction. Then you're right out there at midfield, and this turns out, maybe it's just paybacks, I guess you was to say. Here is the touchdown pass to Paulus.
Here comes pressure, and he gets away, though. Now he can run with it. Steps on his over the line of scrimmage. Passes to Paulus. Now the officials look. No flag comes out, though. Paulus is into the end zone. Touchdown. There is no signal for over the line of scrimmage. He was well over the line of scrimmage, but nobody has the ball.
No, that's going to be a touchdown.
It's going to be a touchdown for Paulus. Roque was a good yard and a half over the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball, but nobody threw it. And Miles Koche, as you might expect, is irate.
There's a lot of people irate on that side of the field, John. What was your view of the whole play?
Well, I know what my view is.
Touchdown!
And you guys are totally wrong. He wasn't a yard and a half. So the rule is, just make sure you guys are the experts and understand the rule. If any part of your body's on the line of scrimmage, it's okay.
Is his foot that big?
No, his foot was on the line behind the line. And so,
really?
Yes, and it was sent out today as a great call.
Really?
Because everybody was doing it. Remember, against Carsville Mines, Matoka did that to us, and it was the same situation.
I'm gonna go look again.
You're wrong.
Okay.
It was not a yard and a half.
The stat guy.
It doesn't matter.
No,
he can be in front as long as he has one part of his body behind him, and that's all that matters.
All right.
Well, either way, it turned out great for you.
And that's why I said you're wrong. You guys were hoping for it.
Well, the great part of the
we weren't
play.
hoping for it. We were just calling it as, from our vantage point, he was well over the line. From our vantage point. So
you were,
we're right on the line.
I go within the 50-yard line. You're not well over. There's not well over because you don't understand the rule.
Well, John,
it's not the rule. I'm just explaining.
No, I get that. I get
so
that.
So you can't say that he was well over the line because based on the rule, as long as any part of his body is touched on the line, and that was happened.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna watch it again. I'm with John. I'm all with John.
Oh,
but the great part of the play was Paulus didn't quit, did he? We're watching the ref. Everybody's looking. Everybody's berserk on this side of the field. And all of a sudden, CK makes a nice little move in the field. He's got pretty good run after the catch skills, doesn't he?
Well, Hunter stayed in there, and he was getting hammered. A guy was grabbing him from behind, and he kind of shot put it over there, and CK caught it. And he had an open field, and he wasn't going to be denied on this one.
That's true, because he got stopped at 2 on the other one.
So he was able to get it in. It was good for him. I believe that might be one of his first touchdowns.
I think it's number 2.
Number 2.
He got a little, not as dramatic as this one. Got a little hook in the end zone or something like that. But he's performed really well for you. Since Nigel got hurt, it's kind of elevated him, and he's taking advantage of the opportunity, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a kid that stayed with it, because he and I have had some heart-to-heart discussions about the way you're supposed to be a Thunderwolf, and I'm proud of him, really proud of him. He stayed with it, and I value his personality. I value the way he goes to work, and he's a very important part of our Thunderwolf team.
All right, we got a couple more plays to squeeze in here. Let's do the interception, which set up the big field goal. This is Bones' interception.
It's interception. Drop back. Comes pressure out the edge, gets the pass. Intercepted! Back there away from the Thunderbolts. Bone has it. Looks for a block, and then it's taken down at the 32-yard line. The ball was deflected, but Bone stayed with it and picked it off, and the Thunderbolts get the turnover they needed.
It's his third interception of the year, and couldn't have come at a bigger time, Jeff.
Was a huge play, John. That ball, it's tough to catch ball when it just ticked just enough, but he's coming right down the middle from his safety spot. He was probably in his mind thinking, I'm going to light this guy up. Then the ball deflected, and it went right in his hands, and he did the job catching it.
Well, it was one of those things where we're playing a zone, and he's just making sure he's as deep as the deepest. And They were running a dig route. They've had some success with the dig routes coming over the middle about 10 to 15 yards. And it was a little bit in front of him, and it was a shot. So it kind of went through the receiver's hands and landed right in bone. And he was alert. And I think the kids go, he didn't even know it was coming to him. He didn't even know. So he got a great play there. And it was really fun to see that energy and excitement from the sidelines when that happened. Because we were up 30-28 at that time.
Right. So now you move it in there. The offense kind of stalls. And I'm sitting there, John and Joe, we're both sitting there going, well, it's 7 yards. It's going to be this 40. We got to go for it. But, man, it's kind of in between. I'm sure you're sitting over there going, man, what am I going to do? Then Joe notices you're running down there. I don't know if you were going to rethink it or you just saw it. But Joe says because the play clock was going down. I don't know if you wanted to rethink your decision.
I think the ball was snapped at 0.
It was.
And so we get the snap off, and here is the big field goal.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to put this on the line. He's not there. They didn't get the turn. Ball down. Kick is on the way. And it is good. Good. Make fools out of us. Sully Moon.
Yeah, John, I was not on board. I'm going to tell you that right now. You can probably tell by my reaction. I don't know if I was on board with him trying to kick, but sooner or later you got to let the guy do his thing, right? It's been his career long by 7 yards. He's hooked some field goals this year. And you're wondering, man, I'm going to give him all kinds of field. And all these things got to be going through. This is what goes through a head coach's mind. I might get in field position. I might get this thing blocked. Joe and I know, so I thought it was only about 6.5 yards back. It didn't seem like it was
deep enough.
Deep, where, might kick it into the line, but he might have been trying to get closer. There was a lot of things, a lot of working things going on in that play. Tell us what your thoughts were.
Well, the reality of this thing is when I saw him warm up in pregame, it made me nervous.
See,
exactly.
And I said that. I said I watched those kickers warm up, and he did not have the best pregame.
And so he's right there, and everybody's saying, and I'm thinking I want to play field position and protect the lead because it's like 4 minutes left in the ball game. And so he goes, I got this. I said, well, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And I got the call in late because I was just playing this game in my mind. And so we ran him out there, and the clock was running down, and I didn't want to move it back 5. And so I'm running down there, and I'm yelling, "Time out!" And the ball was snapped, and the guy on the side says, "Yep, the ball got snapped." And I think it could have been questionable whether it was a couple, because they give you a little bit when it hits 0. And anyway, all I know is that it counts. It counts. It gave us a really important 5-point lead.
That guy talked to you for a little while about that play, and he didn't have his hat on. And I didn't know why he didn't have his hat on.
Just to be a gentleman?
I don't know if he threw it if he was.
What was going on?
Was there something out there, or is that just?
That's for not for our radio show.
Okay.
Well, that gets you up by 5. So the deal isn't sealed yet. Now the defense got to come up with 2 great plays. You pin them back there. You almost get a safety. I mean, you had him right at the goal line. We had him stopped. Then they get a little penalty, a holding penalty to get out of harm's way. But then, Scipio, like he was shot out of a cannon on that sack. I think the quarterback, John, thought he was, I'm going to be able to make a play here, and then all of a sudden Scipio's there, forces the fumble.
Right. Well, I thought that whole scenario of downs, I thought our whole defense played it excellent. We had that 3rd down hold, which it was, and so that gave them new life. And so they completed the ball in the middle of the field. They run a ball and they call timeout. And I'm just saying, okay, let's just keep it all in front of us. And sure enough, we put enough pressure, and he stepped out. Scipio made a play, made the same play the play before, is what I'm saying. And but then he took off to the right, and so Scipio took off running and made one heck of an effort.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was a sprint.
But the better effort on film is you see Daniel Bone closing on the ball from 12 yards. like he was shot out. You know how hard it is to recover a fumble going full speed and not kicking the ball around and doing that. And
secure it.
That's why he recovered the ball and handled it the right way. It was absolutely a thing of beauty. It was about an attitude and effort, and those guys did a hell of a job.
All right, we went a little over there on our highlights, but I thought that was important. There was so many key plays of the game, and great to have your thoughts on it, John. I always enjoy that, hear what you're thinking about it. It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show. We are at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is all-you-can-eat wing night. So come on out and join us. Got the World Series on. We've got a couple of beanies here for the hot mic when we come back here.
And flags.
We got some K1 sponsored, some Thunderwolf flags right here.
All right,
so we'd like to everybody have a part of this.
Yeah, so you got to do the hot mic to guarantee you a shot at that. We'll come back after this timeout. Car Pros John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back. ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. Car Pros John Wristen Show. Question and answer time. We get the hot mic here. If you want one of these flags, you want a cap, come up and give John a question.
Look, we have a taker already.
Come on in. Yeah, we're not going to mess around here tonight.
Question and answer for the coach.
All right, well, you got to grab the mic.
Got to use the mic.
Okay, that's part of the deal.
All right, I have to know from Coach Wristen, of all the football movies out there, what is your favorite all-time movie about football?
I really am partial to the old movie Brian Song. That's what I really like, and it's all about relationships, and so about the unbelievable Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo and the history of the Chicago Bears, but it was all about the human spirit, of supporting and loving each other, and that's really the first one I really remember watching as a kid, and
great show.
I just value that. So here's a Thunderwolf flag right there for you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, caller 6.
Have you ever showed that to your team?
No. But any more of the movies?
No, but I'm saying that's an all-time classic. I think that's one of the first sports movies I ever cried.
I remember. Yeah, exactly.
Whenever I hear Brian Piccolo, I think of James Caan.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the real Brian Piccolo looks like. I remember what Gale Sayers looked like. But
Fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kansas called it.
Was he good? Yep, that's right. Any others? Any other hot mics? We got more stuff
We
to
got
give away.
the Thunderwolf.
Yeah, show everybody what they're missing.
Look
If
right
look at
there.
that.
If you come ask a question,
Awesome.
you get a flag or a beanie.
All right.
That's sponsored by Keg One. Appreciate what they do
Keg
for
One.
us. Thank you, Keg One, for handing out these prizes and getting that done. Okay.
Wow.
Wayne's coming up.
Here we go, Wayne.
Wayne's World. Okay, Wayne, what do you got for us, buddy?
Just want to thank Coach for the birthday win from going over there and beating those bums.
Yes.
I also, maybe our little lecture did something for those referees. I didn't spend my whole day ticked off screaming at the TV. So keep it up, RMAC ref, so I don't have to lecture you on the Car Pros John Wristen Show.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that because I felt like I enjoyed that game because I thought it was well officiated.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And which of the South Dakota teams is it this week?
The Hard Rockers.
The Hard Rockers.
Well,
they like to break rocks.
Beat South Dakota Mines.
Thank you. We're going to have a heck of a senior day to honor these 22 seniors that we got. And we're looking forward to the chance to play against a quality opponent. And we're up to the challenge here.
All right. Take the flag there, Wayne. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Happy belated birthday to you.
You going to ask a question?
39?
Of the
39 now? 39, yeah. 39 and counting. All right. Looks like, let's go to our...
Go to the phones.
Let's go to the phones, shall we? Larry King here. All right. Is the RMAC using 8 officials now? Has it helped with a better officiated game? A lot of official talk tonight. Do we ever count them up? My pet peeve is now, John, I used to call it the umpire tax. Now it's the center judge. The guy that spots the ball, they always take a half yard or a yard away because they're not coming from the side. It's pure. They have no clue. They're just guesswork.
Well, Jim, I have no comment.
Okay.
No, the original question is, does the RMAC use 8 refs in a game?
Right.
Yes.
They do.
All right, we have 8 refs. All
Yes.
right. Let's see. Let's go here. Listener 6. Tim. Did notice a lot of upsets in Super Region 4 last weekend. Did that help the team's possible playoff scenario? Are you even watching that yet right now, John?
Well, I think
a lot of things got to happen still.
We're just right where we need to be, and all those things that happen for a reason, and all we can control is the way we go play. So I'm really focused on that, but it's out there in front of us.
All right, a listener commenting on Mike Pinnell, who's still at it in the league. I mean, the guy is out there. He finds a job. When you're that big and that strong, can wreck plays, you're always going to have a job, aren't you? He's kind of a gypsy, but he's always on somebody's short list. Hey, we need a guy, and now he's on the Bears ball club and causing problems.
He's a tremendous kid. He's a man. I call him a kid just because I coached him. I'll never forget that when I first met him, he was out on the field, and I'm looking out my window. There's this 360-pound guy doing a backflip.
You called me, and you said, you have to come see this guy. Just sheer size. And that's the first time that you had ever called me to say, you got to see how big this guy is.
It's unbelievable.
There are dudes, and then there are dudes.
And you know what was amazing, and I know you both saw this, is, he was here, he went to the NFL, and when he came back after that first year of the NFL, his body had shaped. He was
chiseled.
NFL big now. It's like he was always big, but now he was like NFL big, and that's a different kind of big.
Yeah.
He had a tattoo on his calf that scared anybody. It was called the Beast.
Yeah. Well, that was his Twitter handle, Beast Pinnell.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. It's good work there. All right, Don Nacarado, one of our, he listens to the ball game and watches the game at home. That's one of those dedicated guys with a regular radio, because the iHeart's got about a 30-second delay. He wants to know, what is the key to stop the opponent this week, South Dakota Mines? What is the number one key?
Well, we got to eliminate his self-inflicted wounds, and we did a good job of that on Saturday. And then we got to make sure that we contain this quarterback. He's going to make some big plays, but we got to make sure that we have our eyes in the right place defensively, because there's a lot of misdirection, a lot of deception on their offense and the way they handle things. And so with that, and then on defense, we got to be playing their defense. On offense, we got to really be patient, because they're going to junk it up. They're going to twist and get a lot of things. They play a lot of different fronts. They get it in and out of 4-man, 3-man. They bring a lot of different guys, and so we just got to be really patient, and we got to make sure that we can control what we can control, and that's making sure that we manage the game and play our tail ends off and play it for 60 minutes, and hopefully it's good enough.
All right, we'll talk more about that. We'll come back for our final segment. We thank everybody for your questions each and every week here, and we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about South Dakota Mines, set you up for the matchup this Saturday. It's Senior Day. It's the final regular season home game of the year. Hope you can join us right after this timeout on Fox Sports Pueblo. Gentlemen, I think we might be back. We're having trouble. I'm going to take go out on a limb here and say we're back on the air. We're having Aaron Kinnischtzke, our producer and engineer tonight. They're changing a lot of dials down there and just couldn't hear our cue. But I got to the feeling, I go, you know what?
That was usually a shorter break.
I think I'm gonna just take a chance that we're on the air here. So we're here for our final segment here as we get ready for South Dakota Mines, the Hard Rockers, this weekend. This is a program, John, that's kind of made slow, steady progress. Used to be go in there, had kind of the novelty, the drive-in theater game. You go in there, the crowd kind of revved up, and you're gonna have a kind of a comfortable win against them. No more. I mean, they have elevated their program, and they keep bringing guys back, and I think they're poised. They're right there. They're 6-3. They're thinking the same thing you guys think. Hey, we win our final 2 games. We're going to sneak into this thing.
Yeah, they're exactly right. So this is really a elimination playoff game, making sure that we have a chance to play them here at home to honor our seniors. It's what it's supposed to be about. We're supposed to be playing these games in November. It's supposed to mean something to be able to do those things. So our team's really looking forward to this challenge, and it's going to be a challenge. We played these guys, and every year it's been a 7-point, 14. And last year was one of the first times that we played with a whole bunch of passion. We played pretty well last year. That was probably one of our better games last year that we played.
And a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, and we were able to take advantage of it. So last year was not a real reflection of what this team does, and so we are really got our work cut out for us. They got a really big, talented offensive line. They're all about 300 pounds, and back there's one kid, their left tackle, number 79, Connor Smith. We recruited our tail end off, and the kid wanted to be a engineer and decided he wanted to go to South Dakota Mines to do it, and so he's done a great job. But I tell you, if you guys are going to watch their quarterback, I'm staying on the offense, is number 7, Jaden Johansson, and so I believe he's a coach's son, and he's got ball skills. He can run, he throws it. He's been the RMAC Player of the Week a whole bunch, and so he's the straw that stirs the drink. And then number 3 is Isaiah Eastman, and he's out of Gilbert, Arizona, and we recruited him a little bit, but he's another one of these kids that wanted to go into engineering, and he's a heck of a – they use him a lot of different ways. You bring him back in the backfield, and then get him out, and then this number 8 was a transfer from Texas Commerce early on.
Right.
He's out of Atlanta, Georgia. And this Bridges kid is number 8, that he can fly down the sidelines. And so they usually use him as the guy that's going to take the top off. Use 3 in a lot of different ways. And then their running back is, they got a bigger guy. And then the guy who comes in and kind of scary is this Orlando Westbrook. He's out of Colorado Springs also. But we got work cut out. We got to play with great technique. Our eyes got to be in the right spot. And then on offense, we just got to make sure they're going to get us. They're going to junk it up, and they're going to get us. But I tell you, if you ever want to watch a kid that really loves playing this game, it's number 49, Christian. And he's out of Aurora, and he's like a 5'10", 245-pound spark plug.
Out of Eagle Crest, right?
Yeah, he's a really, really good football player. And so I have a lot of respect for him. And then the other linebacker, that Gavin Chaddock, he was an all-league RMAC player. I think both those kids were, if I remember right. And so our work's cut out. And then the defensive tackle, 99, Amir Jones, 6'2", 295. Okay, so Levy recruited him when he was up there, so we know a little bit about him. But he's hard to move.
Heavy Colorado influence on this stuff. 31 guys on their roster. That's just on the ones they see. Don't tell them how many they got on the red shirt and their true freshmen that don't show up on the roster. So they come into Colorado, look to poach some players, don't they? And they do a good job of it.
They do a great job of it. And then Charlie Floor, he's the head coach. He's going into his second year or third year, and he's from Northwest Missouri. He knows how to win. He knows how to do it. I think he's done one heck of a job of elevating the play and attitude. You can see that on tape. And I value going against people that know how to do that. And it's going to be a knockout, drag-out college football game.
Well, your final message on it is senior day. You'd like to see a nice big crowd to honor this senior class.
Yeah,
we're help you win a ball game.
Yeah, we're going to honor these seniors. We're going to start that about 1:35. Kickoffs at 2:02, and we're going to honor them and their parents. We're going to walk on the field and be able to do that. And then I need everybody to be in the stands to be able to help root these kids on. And I always say, be loud and proud of what we're doing, and it really helps. It really helps create the energy. And ever since I moved the red shirts down on the sideline, that's helped. But I like to get the whole crowd, and I like our crowd to really cause a 5-yard penalty. That was always one of my goals, is to see our crowd have so much noise that we can go ahead and cause a delay of game because they can't hear the snap count.
All right, we're looking forward to it. We'll have the ball game for you on Saturday. It's a 2 o'clock kick, or 2:02 as John said. It's a television ball game, but they use our broadcast as part of the television package, so that's always kind of fun. 1:30 with the pregame right here on Fox Sports Pueblo. Joe and I will set you up for the ball game, and then the kickoff will happen after that. We want to thank everybody here at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House, Ryan Howard and Company. everybody involved with the broadcast here. Andres Madrid is the sports information guy at CSU Pueblo. Paul Plinsky, the athletic director. Aaron Kinnischtzke has been our producer and engineer tonight of the Car Pros John Wristen Show. And special thanks, of course, to the Nardinis and
Keg 1.
There you go, Keg 1. The people that provided our pride. We'll have some carried over for next week. For my partner, Joe Cervi, for the head coach, John Wristen, my name is Jim Brooks. We'll talk to you on Saturday. Good night, everybody.
Go Pack.